Yeah, it was a game-winning shot, but let's not pretend it was a great shot. He missed wildly and just got lucky. Jayson Tatum, of course. Let me be clear. Just getting a shot off against Giannis, the reigning defensive player of the year, under those circumstances is an accomplishment on some level. I couldn't do it, but that was not a great shot. It was a shot that was so bad that it happened to get lucky and bounce in. And then, of course, on the other end, Giannis ends up at the free throw line. He's got two, make them both. You can send this thing to overtime, makes the first, misses the second. A reminder that though he is an incredible talent and an incredible player and a two-time and reigning MVP, he is not a great shooter, so it's not shocking that he wasn't able to make two in a row. Ultimately, for both teams, it's one of what should be 72 games. Probably not the biggest deal in the world, but if we look up several months from now and these are two teams chasing the one seed in the East, it will be wild to think about on some level that maybe a banked-in three-pointer and a missed free throw dictated who had home court advantage in the Eastern Conference playoffs.
Gary, it'll fit with the whole uniqueness that is the NBA season that we just had and the one that we're embarking on. And I think for Giannis, it's also nice for us to see there's some human aspects to his game. Those are nerves that get you in those moments as well. Let's bounce around the league a little bit here with some of the top performers because, again, on a busy night, some things get lost in the shuffle. Russell Westbrook, new team, but same Russ. He had a triple-double in his debut with the Wizards. Then you had Buddy Hield with the game winner. And your guy, Ja Morant, putting up 44 in his game. What was your favorite of the evening? Do I even have to ask, though?
You don't have to ask. It was watching fellow Memphian Ja Morant go for 44 points and 9 assists. Yes, in a loss, but still an awesome performance, an historic performance. Ja Morant, he's just 21 years old. Last night became the youngest person in NBA history to get more than 40 points in a season opener. So, again, a historic performance. And you have to understand the Grizzlies are missing two projected starters right now in Jaren Jackson Jr. and Justice Winslow. And so they're probably going to lose just as often as they win this season, perhaps even more than they win this season. But the organization has made it clear. The goal in this 2020-21 season is for individual development and, sure, team development if you can get it. But let's see our important pieces take important steps. And, man, Ja Morant in game one of his second season, the reigning rookie of the year, he went big. He made a point to be more aggressive, more assertive, and the result was, again, a historic performance from the reigning NBA Rookie of the Year.
In Philadelphia, Gary, the offseason was just full of trade talks with Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons. These two can't coexist. Well, at least in game one against Washington, they look pretty comfortable playing with one another, combined 45 points in the win. Is that enough, or does the sample size need to grow exponentially larger for this to feel like something that can be a plan and something for Daryl Morey moving forward this year?
Yeah, let's see more of it. Let's not overreact to 48 minutes, but it was a good 48 minutes. Like you said, 45 points, 23 rebounds, 9 assists. That's what they combined for. And they also looked like they were having a good time playing with each other. And so the ideal situation for Philadelphia has never been to move one of them in exchange for whatever. It has been to try to figure out how they can coexist and flourish together, because these are still two of the young best talents in the world. Joel Embiid's only 26 years old. Ben Simmons is only 24 years old. So if this new regime in Philadelphia can figure out a way to not only make them work together, but work really well together, then they can still title chase, which was always the plan. And so, again, it's just one game, but it was an encouraging first performance of this season from Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons.
Christmas Day, it is a staple in the NBA. 5 great games, Gary, to run through. Maybe we'll sprinkle in a little college as well. But let's start with the first game of the day, noon Eastern. It's the Pelicans and the Heat. The Heat dropped their first game of the season. Obviously, expectations have gone through the roof based off of how they finished in the bubble. Any cause for concern for Miami? What do you think of this one?
I don't think there's any real cause for concern. I mean, Miami had a shorter than everybody except the Lakers off season, so perhaps it's not a surprise that they would start a little slow in this 2021 season. Beyond that, What I do think is worth pointing out is that, they were in the NBA Finals, one of two teams playing at the end of the season, but they were not one of the two best teams in the NBA last season. They were the 5 seed in the East. So you're right, expectations are really, really high, but don't forget, this was the 5th seed in the East last season, not the 1st.
Game number 2, Warriors-Bucks, two teams that lost their opener. It was great seeing Steph Curry back in action, but he's got a lot on his shoulders with injuries with that Warriors team. Klay Thompson obviously out for the season. Is this a tough one for the Warriors as the Bucks look for win number 1?
I think everything's tough for the Warriors right now. We saw it on opening night in a blowout loss in Brooklyn. Having Steph Curry play on Christmas is appropriate. He is a 2-time MVP, future Hall of Famer, but he is not surrounded by much that can help him right now. Klay Thompson obviously out for the season. Draymond Green out temporarily. So the Warriors are left with a roster missing 2 starters, and they're starting a 19-year-old rookie in the middle. James Wiseman's got a bright future, but if you are starting a 19-year-old rookie in Game 2, it means that you're probably not equipped to deal with the Milwaukee Bucks right now.
Gary, let's get reckless here. We've got Nets, Celtics. It's an Eastern Conference Finals preview. I'm saying that, and it's the first week of this season. But look, this is an awesome matchup. You got Kyrie and KD looking like they're in midseason form, and Tatum's coming off his bank game winner. Is this the game of the day?
It certainly could be, and you've got real star power here. Boston coming off that incredible Game 1 win. And you're exactly right about Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. You can nitpick them away from the court if you want to. Kyrie doing and saying things that seem unnecessary. Kevin sometimes being moody, but they served as a reminder in their first game together that they are 2 of the best basketball talents in the entire world. Kevin, I thought, was the story on the opening night of the season because you wanted to see what he looks like coming off that Achilles injury, because basketball players his age don't usually look the way they used to look coming off of this injury. And I'll give it some time before I'm definitive about it, but he looked as good as he's ever looked from my perspective. So absolutely can't wait to watch this one. And it's Kyrie back at Boston. Too bad we can't have a filled to capacity arena for it, but still Kyrie back in Boston is obviously interesting.
The marquee game of the day, at least in terms of the schedule makers, it's Luka and LeBron, Mavericks and Lakers. The Lakers get their rings, but they don't get the win. The Mavericks, they seem to pick up their game when they take on the LA Lakers. What are you looking for most out of this game?
The star power. I mean, this is intentionally done by the NBA. LeBron James is not the reigning MVP, but he is still regarded, even by the reigning MVP, as the best basketball player in the world. He is the face of that league, and the guy he'll be matched up against on Christmas Day is the future face of the league, according to most people who follow the league. That is Luka Doncic. And so if you're the NBA, you not only want to give Luka, your future face, the stage that Christmas provides, you want to give him the stage that LeBron James provides. And so this is not a passing of the torch situation. LeBron's going to try to win back-to-back titles and maybe an MVP this season. But if you are looking for the guy who's been the face of the league for a while and the guy who should be the face of the league going forward for a while, then this is the Christmas Day game for you.
Nightcap here as we wrap up quickly, Gary. Clippers, Nuggets. Clippers, look, it's early, but they've got to seemingly get going out of the gate to put to bed this idea that maybe they haven't earned as much of the attention as they've gotten.
Yeah, it was an impressive season-opening win over the Lakers, and now they get a Nuggets team that eliminated them from the playoffs last season. Clippers blew a 3-1 lead. Paul George's reputation took a hit, but in that season-opening win, Paul George was on the court with Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, 3 future first-ballot Hall of Famers, and he at least performed better than all of them in that victory. So now let's see if he can string 2 of those in a row.
Let's put a bow on it here. Michigan, Wisconsin on Christmas Day. Who has the edge in a big Big Ten matchup?
I think Wisconsin right now, if only because Michigan State's coming off a pretty embarrassing loss to Northwestern where they allow Chris Collins' Wildcats to shoot 53% from the field. This Michigan State team enters the season missing Cassius Winston, missing Xavier Tillman, but we still thought they would be a legitimate Final Four contender, somebody that operated at the top of the Big Ten, and they might be that, but they certainly weren't that last weekend. It's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back from, again, that loss to Northwestern, and try to bounce back against a Wisconsin team that ranks in the top 10 in all of the computers is probably not the easiest task.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell for more videos.